and thought worth sharing. For a while, I've been getting a warning about Postgres being on version 12 and it needs to be on 13. But this script only installs version 13, I think. It doesn't actually migrate you over to version 13, migrate your data.
Oh no, it does.
Well, it didn't up until a few hours or a day or very, very recently.
Oh, okay.
So I just tried to run another GDK update before. This was more of a warning than an error. But this time it's outright refused, told me to run the script. I've run the script. And it's saying it's happy, so we're going to try and do a GDK update again and see what happens. Hopefully it won't complain. Meanwhile, go on.
I did the same this morning and it worked, so fingers crossed.
Amazing. Meanwhile, I guess we can give a little bit of background on at least one of the things that we hope to talk about today.
Yes.
So I started work on a merge request. Let me open a new window. I'm probably not going to be logged in now, am I?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, this is real painful, isn't it? Has that stopped sharing? Can you still? You can't see my screen anymore, can you? Right, I'm just going to try and get GitLab over from the other screen.
Yeah, we can't see your screen anymore.
Cool. Share screen. And I should be back and in Inception. So, I started a merge request a long time ago. The idea being this opening web ID button that appears in numerous places currently has some basic logic checks to kind of say if you haven't got access to the repository or right access to the repository, to offer you to create a personal fork. If you've already got a personal fork, then it'll just jump straight in there. But if you've got access to a fork in another namespace, it doesn't take that into consideration. So I started work on this MR. Well, there you go, 2 months ago. But it's just too kind of like very much a rabbit hole. You've got this view component, which then invokes this view component that then needs some GraphQL. We needed to expose some additional stuff from GraphQL to be able to even get access to the right path. And it was just changes in like XAML helpers and everything is just really intertwined and nested. And it's only going to work in certain scenarios anyway, because the path that this web ID links to is going to be very different to the path that this web ID links to, and you might not have the same branches available in your fork, and there's so many ifs, buts, and maybes. It's just a bit too daunting to move forward at the moment. So tell us about your awesome suggestion, Marco.
Well, basically, I was having a look the other day on the other platform.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the fork button on the project page has a little drop down that lets you have a look at the forks that you have access to, or at least that you have created. And you can click on one of those and it will bring you to your fork page. Otherwise, if you don't have any, you have a button to create a new fork. And this would help us with the issue that you mentioned of all the various places that that button is used and the various URLs to open the web ID. Because if we go to our own fork, then we can open the web ID from there.
So to keep it super, super simple, it would just take you to the kind of home page, project overview, if that's
Yes.
the right term. We don't have to worry about, well, in fact, I guess that button doesn't even appear. No, so that button doesn't even appear when you're in a file.
Yeah.
What if we're in a branch? So not if you're in a branch. So I think it probably only appears in one place as well, which kind of keeps things nice and simple. But
Yeah.
it's just a first logical step. I like it. Cool. Okay. So we are up and running. I'm going to do my usual and GDK kill to Daisy. GDK kill, then restart and try and find out, first of all, we can hopefully check if it is mounted anywhere else. And
It's not a view component.
okay. Is that good or a bad thing, or do we not? Neither.
Uh, it's not super complicated because I did have work on that area of the project overview in the past, and it's not that complicated. We should be able to just add a drop down option uh,
Cool.
to that.
Whilst it's booting, do you happen to know the HAML file that I'm looking for?
Yeah, it's under the buttons folder. It's the underscore fork.html.
Perfect. Thank you very
Yeah, that
much.
one.
And now, what's our easiest way to try and find that? That's a view component, isn't it? I'm wondering how we can find a button that has a drop down.
Pajamas.
Yeah,
Let's have a look.
this is the clever way, right? Going to
Uh,
it's not
click, click drop down.
GitLab UI is a little bit easier, right? To, excuse me, find examples, etc.
Yeah, that's easier, but maybe we could have a look at this.
So
Let
the
me do the
first
link.
question is, so
Ooh, the thing is, that's not even pajama
compliant.
compliant thingy.
um, so I'm just trying to. So obviously you've also got. Oh, there is some interesting logic in here that I'm struggling to decant. So if it's an empty repo, then don't show anything. If you're not logged in, don't show anything. I don't know why those are separate. Should we get carried away and
I show this on the front button. That's it. Doesn't even have an else case.
no, but I suppose that kind of counter because this is a negative.
Yeah, but if current user is nil, you're not logged in.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm just trying to think what to like. I don't know if that's valid or not. You can't call it? Can you call? It should work, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that should work.
Or if we want it to be positive, I guess we could.
If
Something like that. Just
Yeah, it. I always find myself struggling to read the unless case.
I wonder if there's a sort of opposite to empty repo, like has repo or something like that.
Uh, I don't think there is an.
Oh, repository exists. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, getting distracted. Right, so count badge button group.
So it's already a button group. I'm going to find another button group somewhere. Sure, there's going to be plenty.
So I have got some forks, or I did have some forks in my GDK. So because it looks like there's some slightly different behavior.
Oh,
If you're already, yeah, I don't know if this means if this project is a fork or whether the current user has already forked this project.
I think if that's no, I think that's true if the user already has forked that project, because I'm gonna try on my DDK.
So
Oh, I could actually check on GitLab as well.
So let's fork. See what happens. Public into.
What is changing? Namespace project overview fork. So I don't.
It's really hard to interpret this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it's already forked and you only have one possible namespace to fork into, then I think it's going to link to your fork. But if you're able to fork into other namespaces and or you haven't already forked.
Yeah, because I was having a look on the GitLab project and I do have a fork, but that button still points me to the new forks. Maybe
So yeah, go on. You're going to say it, aren't you?
because I do have more forkable namespaces.
Yes, exactly. What a mouthful, forkable namespaces. Yeah, I suspect that's the same. Yeah, it's taking a lot longer to fork than I'd hoped.
Does your alter ego has access to multiple namespaces?
Probably not. Do you want me to see if I can? Well, it will, but they shouldn't be forkable, right? Because it should have, because it's got access to the community forks.
Okay. Well, we can remove the access temporarily.
If we need to, yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look what happens. So I've already got a fork as well, by that it's fit in my personal namespace.
Okay, that's perfect. No, that's the same.
So, and we think that's because I've got other forkable. Oh, so that looks like a bug. Can you fix that quickly for me, Marco? Or
Community charts.
it looks like that subgroup of the GitLab community group hasn't been set, so developers can't create projects.
Oh, I'm not an owner of that group.
Okay, I will just rotate my. Actually, I can flip to my other screen quickly, can't I? Oh no, I'm logged in here, can't I? So
You want me to stop sharing your screen momentarily?
yeah, if you wouldn't mind. I don't think I'm going to expose anything, to be honest, but just in case. So we want to make sure that's disabled. Users can't request access, and only maintainers can create projects. Perfect. That should be updated.
So now you have only one portable namespace.
Then it's a question about caching, right? Aha, that's interesting.
Do you
Did
want
you
to
see?
share again?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Do I need to do it, or can you?
No, I can.
Yep. Thank you. So yeah, it looks exactly the same, but when I click on fork, it's go to your fork, not create a new fork.
Yeah, the link changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So it's nice that we've at least been able to demonstrate this. And even that it was this part, it wasn't just this part. But what we potentially want to do is go one step further then, right? And is actually
I would completely remove the click action on that button, to be honest, because that's a hidden feature. I would be rather using the drop down to show the list of forks you have access to and a create fork button.
so we want, yeah, okay. Okie dokie. So
Having said that, we can basically rewrite this component to be using pajamas component, so we have the drop down as well.
do you think we should do that as part of the scope of? And if we're going to do that, should we not just make it a view component?
Well, making it a view component is
I'd agree. It's a lot more work because we've got to create the
yeah.
component. We got to mount it. We got to, we got to pass data from the back end to the front end, and yeah, there's quite a lot to do there.
Yeah, I was having a look at another Haml page, how they render a button component inside a button group, and it's really straightforward.
Cool. Okay. Well, I feel like maybe that. Yeah, let's take some of the functionality first. So I'm just having a look. So we want project.forks. Access is nil. So we want this one, I think. So there's always going to be you're always going to be either allowed to create a new fork or already have access to some, aren't you?
If you are logged in, yes.
Yeah, so if you're not logged in, so should this become...
Well, if the current user is nil, you're not logged in. So basically,
Okay, so we never get to this anyway, so we
yeah,
won't even display this. Cool, so we don't have to worry about that. So the current scenarios were, if you've already forked it, then it will automatically go to your fork. If you haven't... Yeah, and you've got nowhere else that you can fork it to. Otherwise, the behavior is to create the fork. So we don't want to do that. So we want a drop down. So what I'm trying to figure out is what bit do I actually want? So we want... How can I... What's the easiest way to sort of say if 1 equals 2?
if false.
Yeah. So
Also, you
this...
are the old one, and
Yeah, I just want to kind of get rid of badge button group spot icon for... So that in itself, oh god, that maybe, I don't know. Does that completely kill it? Can't believe it's still forking.
no, it's just stuck in there.
Okay, I've broken something somewhere.
Syntax error. Check if.
I think it's this, maybe.
Oh yeah, you need an equal before the hash. Oh,
Yeah.
you already have it.
Hmm.
Oh, but the span has to be indented.
It
Oh,
wasn't here. But then these were children.
yeah.
Don't know whether that should be... but that's still... I still don't think that would do cause a syntax error, to be honest.
If move, something can be both given the same value.
I don't know. I've definitely messed that up. Let's undo that. I think it might be because there's no code to be executed on this line, maybe,
Or is it missing a dash for the nest?
Just get rid of this for a second. I can get it back easy enough. Does this always... Yeah, this always shows. So
Yeah, that's the count, and that's okay.
again, I might just move. What is it moaning about? Does it point you where it's not happy?
I don't know.
And what about should this tell us somewhere, or guess not?
Try removing that because I wonder if that's an issue with the if. Hmm. Nope. Oh, count class.
Ah, okay. Oh, now that's even more confusing.
Oh, because the count class is used. Let me go to the same code because or count.
Yeah, but it's used in here. But if it's used in, I thought this was outside of the if and else.
It's Ruby. Maybe if you define a variable inside an if, it's visible outside of the scope as well.
Hmm.
I'm always confused by these languages.
Should we just?
Disable. Well, now that would be always disabled, I guess.
Yeah, you would. Well, when would a
Oh, maybe not.
no? Because
Can
if you're a
oh
guest,
yeah.
yeah, right. So
Okay, that's good.
yeah. Um, so I need to add these classes until we
Yes.
make it pajama compliant. To
Yes.
this span, or do I probably need to kind of
Create a
stick these.
div.
Yeah,
Is it
I could just.
percent div maybe?
I don't think you need to. I think this automatically creates a div just by. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't think you have to. I don't think you have to tell it to, but I could be wrong. So it's all of these that we want, isn't it?
yes. And I guess we can remove all the classes that we don't need. Basically, those ones.
Just keep it all for the moment, I guess. So, cool. Doesn't do anything, which is fine. That's what we want at the moment.
Yes.
And this at the moment will take us to just a list of forks, which is fine for the moment.
Yes.
But we want to change this to a drop down or add a drop down after, or what do you think?
To be honest, I don't know because if we make that one a drop down, we somehow have to show the little drop down icon somewhere.
I mean, maybe we just change this to a drop down, and there's one or two or three options. One is just to kind of go to this screen to show all the forks. One is to create a fork, and the other one is a list of the forks you've got write access to.
Well, let me have a look.
Although, are we worried if that list is quite large, or do we just show the first X number? Or
I think we could even show only the first X amount of forks, and
okay,
even then, how many forks do you want to have?
I'm just thinking about. I don't know how it works. If you're an admin, for example, then I guess you're potentially going to see all of them. Um,
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to check. Oh, oh, I see. That's how they did it.
although it's quite nice to still see this number, isn't it? It's quite a nice metric to be able to.
Yeah,
But I think just clicking on, so maybe this would show like two forks with a drop down. So it's just one button or one drop down, and then on that drop down it has the options. So now I think you're right. I think what we do is we write below it, we insert a pajamas button.
for
So
the with the drop down.
we'll just because we've got this a bit more basic and kind of, I don't know, but now we want to start making it into a drop down, and yeah, like I'll just add it side by side and go from there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to.
Have you got an existing component that we can look at? Can I
Yeah,
just
I'm
look in
having a
this
look.
folder, or are they all as bad as each other in here?
I don't know. Oh, type.
Oh, at least this is using a pajamas button component, but I'm guessing it's not a button component that we want to use here,
Uh, hmm.
or is it?
What components do we have?
No idea. I don't really understand. Do we have the whole of GitLab UI available to us in Haml or not?
I don't think so, but I
So
do
which
see a
components?
lot. I'm searching the code for pajamas and double column,
Hmm.
and there's tons of button components, but I don't see any drop down.
I don't think we call them drop down. Let's read this for drop downs. Which component should we use? If the user is performing an action or workflow or selecting one or more options, they're going to be doing an action or work. So use GL disclosure drop down.
There's no drop down inside the pajamas component in Haml. Don't tell me that's not possible.
So here you go. Here's disclosure.
Disclosure.
Yes, it's just taking us to the view docs though.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh my god.
But if you go to the pajamas page about buttons,
Yeah.
go to the bottom of the page. Oh, maybe not that far at the end of the examples.
Button group.
And there's a drop down.
Oh, proper broken though.
Yeah, well, broken the example.
And we think that's still all right to use that, seeing as it's in here, right?
There's implementation Rails page tab, but I couldn't really find.
Again, I think if I follow this though, I think it's just going to take me to the GitLab UI, and this is all just view, isn't it?
Yeah, that. Uh, I'm having a look at the code. If there's any place that creates a drop, but there's. Well, expanded.
My GDK's struggling a bit.
I'm trying to think if there's a place somewhere that they do use that.
So yeah, there's a lot of these types of buttons. So if we can find out if one of these uses Haml and not Vue, then
Well, even if it's not a pajamas component, it wasn't before. So if we don't use a pajamas component, I don't think that would be a problem.
it's just whether it's Vue or not, isn't it? That's the
Oh, there's one on that page actually. The notifications button.
this one.
No, let me have a look if that's in Haml or not.
You've got loads to choose from. I'm sure one of these must be.
No, don't tell me.
Here you go. Pajamas button component.
Pajamas button component. Oh, okay. So that's a drop down. How do they?
New branch. There you go. Oh my god.
Oh,
But then, to be fair, this is quite complex because it's got this box to kind of put branch name in, a source branch. You know, there's quite a lot going on in here.
I thought I found another one, but it's a view application. Button drop down, drop lab. Button component with an icon of the chevron, and that's a drop down toggle. Chevron icon. Or chevron down. Oh, okay. Maybe this is an easier example. It's not using the pajamas component though.
This one or the one that you've got one, have you?
I've got one maybe simpler. If you go to to-dos and index.html.haml, yeah, that
What,
one.
that one?
Line 58, they create a drop down with a button.
I think we should be able to work with one of these examples.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, drop down trigger. Go to the right. Create merge request. Drop down. And if you try to find that create merge request drop down,
yeah, that's just
okay. Okay, so basically you have the button and then you have the okay. Yeah, this should be. I'm not gonna say it.
no chance. Okay, so I don't quite get what we've got here with unavailable.
I think we could just try to pick the render pajamas button component on line 25. Yeah. One more tab.
Um, No, I don't want it. I want it to be separate, if that makes sense.
Oh,
So
separate from the button group?
yeah, we're basically going to get rid of this. Is the way I see it. So
Oh,
I want us to create a brand new one next to it for the time being, and
okay.
then once we're ready, we can just get rid of all this junk, basically.
Okay.
Um, so at the moment, it should. So where was it getting? Because I saw like one of them had stuff about like Chevron and. Oh yeah, sorry, it was the icon. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, let's just save that for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of as expected.
Okay. The blue background is coming from somewhere.
It's the
Maybe.
confirm.
Oh,
If
yeah.
we should we try omitting the variant completely, we might have to put like tertiary or something in there.
Yeah, but I think that it should go to the default.
We also so how did where was it getting before? Okay, so we had a button group.
Yeah.
So we probably do actually want.
If you want to have more than one button, yeah.
So that I don't want the other thing to be a button particularly. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that says like, okay, can we just add the text in? I guess right. Okay, that's better. That's better already.
Yes.
Yeah, we just want some wordage before the chevron. So, I mean, do you think we can just sort of pop it?
Oh, maybe I know where you want to go.
Can I just? Um, so I just want to say like something like that.
Yeah, you can create a span, I guess, inside of the. Yeah, I guess that if
It's
you.
really bloody fussy, isn't it?
Yeah, Hamel is. Did you add a do at the end of the render?
I did not. Okay, so okay, I need a do. I'm thinking of doing this sort of thing. Um, yeah, basically showing
The
how many.
method.
Well, yeah. So this will always show. Oh, nice. It's the wrong way around, but um,
Uh,
don't think I'm going to be able to resolve that. Unfortunately, that's the problem with it being. I think I'm going to need to make a button group, and the first button's just going to have to be a button that doesn't do anything almost. Disabled button or something.
yeah, but we could. Hmm, maybe there is an option to set the icon because on the GitLab UI you can set the icon on the right of the text.
Oh,
So
that's interesting. So you think that might be available?
I'm trying to look at the options.
Chevron icon classes.
No.
Um, too obvious.
Yeah, worst case scenario, we can just have a button thingy on the left and the drop down on the right.
I don't know how to overcome the frustration at something that should be so simple.
Yeah.
I feel like I've almost got to render an actual orgy thing.
No, if you go back to the other file, I think the trick is to use the button and button default classes
Okay.
to make it render as a button. Or maybe even GL button. Well, maybe not. We'll see.
Because we haven't even started on the functionality yet. Okay, yeah, so it's...
I think you need GL button to have the same border.
And then we want to disable... Somehow set it to disabled, I guess. It's
Well,
giving us a cursor and...
well, it's only a div, so
Yeah, but I don't really want that cursor, right?
it depends.
Fixed.
Oh, perfect.
Right, so now we need to steal some of this stuff
Yeah.
to make a drop down. Now, clearly I don't want this much.
No, I don't think so.
um,
One more tab. Yeah,
so
the
that's...
same level of the render function.
Yeah, okay. And so
I guess
let's
we
get
can
rid...
try it with some fixed.
Yeah, just some simple...
So the ID, we do
stuff.
need that.
Yeah. Drop down toggle. Drop down trigger. Create merge request drop down. Which was, yeah, this bit.
Yeah.
So we really want to get rid of all kind of conditional stuff. We just really want web items selected. Class can drop web items selected. Oh god, this is horrendous. I think it would have been better creating a view component.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can just create a couple of ally elements and see.
That's what I'm thinking, but I just wondered whether they should have like a drop lab item class or something. But
Ooh.
so you got item active, item selected,
But you,
item ignore.
yeah, but you don't have a drop lab item
No,
alone.
it doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just... Don't even know. Can you just render text like that? Or
Maybe in quotes.
take off some of this extra
Yeah.
junk. So yes, we've got something where's confidential in there. Don't need if.
You don't need the class itself.
Field, show errors, menu, create merge request, drop down menu.
I think we don't need that.
I don't think so either.
At least I hope. The ID, well,
We'll keep that for the moment.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, doesn't work. That could be my bad handling, to be fair. Let's see if this exists. It does. What if I do something like that?
I wonder if droplab dropdown is a JavaScript component and we have to include a JavaScript file to handle that, because we took the example from another page.
How would you... We'd have to find the corresponding bundle, right, that's used on... I don't even know how you do that.
Me neither. Oh, create merge request dropdown JS. Droplab.
Oh, don't tell me that's a completely custom implementation.
I hope not.
We should have just done Vue, shouldn't we?
Oh, there's an init droplab. I don't like this.
Basically, Vue. I mean, this may as well be Vue, mightn't it? Oh, God. I think we're almost at time as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. Well, I guess.
And this is the simple approach. I'm all for. I'm fine with doing it. I've been much more comfortable in Viewland anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I mean, we spent an hour
Messing around, not even writing any like functionality. So
yeah.
yeah.
Do we have a GraphQL endpoint to get the list of forks available?
So here's the thing.
Oh, you had it on your MR.
Yes. But what I'm debating is yeah. So I've specifically done something which you can use to get visible forks, and you pass it a role, and it gives you
Yeah.
the relevant forks back. So whether we call that twice, once with no role, so it gives you all visible forks, all public forks, etc. Then we make another call to it with developer, so we get writable forks. Although, we don't actually need the other ones, do we? We just need the number, and we can push the number from Haml.
Yes.
So actually, we're all good. We could also push from Haml whether or not they have any namespaces. No, because you can always fork, even if it's into your personal
To be
namespace.
honest, if we were, and I think we are going to create the view component, I would just fetch the accessible forks when the drop down is opened.
Good point. Good point. Although, yeah, we do that with some other drop downs. So yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, maybe start fresh, but it'll probably be 2 weeks time when we pair.
Yeah, I think it's also going to be easier and more testable.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not really wanting to start any new MRs because I'm away next week. So if anything, I should have tried to wrap up some existing ones. But this is so I can close the one working on the web ID because that one's just too complex.
I would extract from that one only the GraphQL endpoint to
Yeah,
expose the available forks, and that should be pretty easy.
yeah, no, sounds good. Awesome. Um, any quick questions or stuff we can touch on before we run away? Completely unrelated to this.
I don't have any idea. To be honest, I hoped this would have been simpler.
Share that. No, no, no. Yeah, it's just really if there's any other MRs that you had in flight that you had any questions on or whatever before we disappear. But
Oh no, I only have one to add the set estimate UI on issuables, but that's basically ready. I just have to write the specs for that.
awesome, cool,
Yeah, only always the fun part at last.
absolutely. You could try asking our friends at OpenAI to give you some pointers.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that.
I don't know if you've got access. I think we might even have a way
Oh,
to do it
oh,
in the UI. I don't know.
oh, maybe yes, we do. In the MR page, maybe we do have it. I'm just checking quickly. Yes, on the changes tab, for each file, there's a generate test with the AI option.
But yeah, we're allowed to use that for pointers, but we're not allowed to use that to write GitLab code, I think, for some reason.
Well, I can see the reason.
Yeah,
I'm just trying now. Let's see what it does, but it's taking its time. So, yeah, it's really taking its time. Well, oh, yes. It's not working. Oh, yeah, it did. And now I'm going to copy and paste it and have a look. No, it's using the wrapper.vm.
but if it gives you, I mean, what I've found in the past is sometimes you just need the kick to understand the branches, and even if it just stubs your what they call like your describe blocks and your whatevers to sort of remind you, oh, I need to test these branches. That sometimes helps, just stubbing out the kind
Yeah,
of
well, it was smart enough to generate two tests to make sure that the mutation was called and wasn't called when it shouldn't be.
cool.
So yeah, that's
It's
a
a start, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, that's a pretty good pointer.
Awesome. Well, let us know once you start moving on that one.
Yeah,
But anyway, thanks very much for your time. Um,
oh, no worries. Thanks to you.
have a
Even
good day, and
yeah,
we'll catch you later in the week.
yes, absolutely.